there, Maunster here. This is episode 2 of January Jam to full-length February track, and we're featuring this little guy. It's the PO-35 Speak by Teenage Engineering. This one is really interesting in particular because the Speak does speech synthesis. So this jam came about because I actually kind of goofed something up. I hit the wrong pattern button and got this guy. I hope that's coming across on camera. I have no idea what that is, at what point that I recorded this or programmed it. Probably what happened is I had different sounds and made a pattern, and then I recorded new sounds over those sound slots, and it got all weird, which is the cool thing about these little guys. Happy accidents are kind of their forte. But as I got this thing, all recorded and edited and shot, and, was posted on Instagram, I really grew quite fond of it. So I definitely kind of tucked this one away to come back to it for the full so much alliteration. Say it with me. Full-length February. This one definitely stuck with me, and I knew I wanted to do it. So first step is getting the patterns into the computer, into Logic, so that I can mess with them and do all the things that I want to there. So now that we got those kind of base patterns in from the PO-35, I wanted to kind of build out some kind of structure in the arrangement. Taking the arrangement somewhere different was definitely a top priority. Then something happened. I got lost in the sea of VST synthesis. Really, AU's in my case, I'm an Apple guy. There are so many sounds and possibilities that I completely got derailed and spent probably an hour looking for sounds for just the arpeggio, the do-do-do-do. Because I'd sold my Mini-Nova, which turned out to be kind of problematic now that I was wanting to make a full-length track. So I was trying to recreate this particular patch that I had on my Mini-Nova, which I really liked, and I probably played with that just one evening trying to find sounds. Screw it. So just went to bed. Day 2 rolls around, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to roll with the sound, get the arrangement together, work on what I can work on, and not get hung up on little things. I have to do that all the time. So worked on getting the arrangement sectioned out, so I got replayed the parts, remembered where all the arpeggios were. Now that I had a clue about what my ranges were, what my arrangement was, what I needed added if I wanted to have that lead part, because I knew I wanted to have a different sound for the lead than the main arpeggio from the Jam, because I used the same sound in the Jam because I just had the Mini-Nova and it's only got one voice. It's not multi-timbral. So I had the main arpeggio line, and I knew I had a lead line, but the main arpeggio just didn't have the girth that I wanted from that kind of part for the bass line. And this little dude, once you plug them up into the computer, it's bass and low end, it's kick drums, they hit so freaking hard. That was the case here, is I had this great low hitting kick, but then the actual low end of the arpeggiator was not substantial, robust, or girthy at all. So I wanted something a little thicker. Zebra comes back in, loaded up, and actually, hilariously, I just used the startup sound. I don't think I've ever used it, but the initial patch that it loads up when you instantiate one of the synths. Yeah, turned out it was working just great, perfectly, just low end, sounded awesome. I was like, you know what? Good on you, initial patch. You're the winner. And then just, kind of cooked up a pluck sound from, I think it's just one of Logic's stock synths. So just got a little pluck going, and that let me have a little more movement. Something happened in the background to kind of elevate the arrangement a little bit in places, and was pretty happy with that. So those are in there. Then I go back, add the lead parts, but I like the drum sounds on this so much. I went back and programmed hi-hat sequences on the 35 and recorded those in and kind of spiced it up. It's sounding pretty good here, and I probably could have called it. I wanted a different texture. So pull out the little guy again and just record in some vocal lines and some kind of words. I won't tell you what they are. You can try to figure them out. It's probably not hard. But just something that sounded interesting, and recorded that line into the Speak, and then live played a little riff on that. And a cool thing you can do with these is when you are playing a phrase or something that's long, it's a long piece, if you let your notes overlap when you're playing it, it'll actually continue the phrase in the higher note. So let's see if we can try this. It keeps the phrase going. That's really cool. So I live played that in, and then, effects, reverb, delays, all that kind of good stuff. And this track has really come together. I am super stoked. It has, it's taken on kind of a life of its own. I'm really happy with it. It has various, movements and energy, which is really cool. I dig it. From there, all I want to do is just show you some of the producery moments. So we'll have a look at the arrangement inside of Logic, see if any kind of special moments or things of note there. And after that, we'll just play the whole track, and I'll catch you back here in a second. So now let's look at the arrangement and see some things I did to kind of give it a little more spice. Here we have a little bit of a buildup with the hat, and I'll use this a lot on the the pocket operators. They have punch-in effects. It just adds a little spice. It's great for transitioning into or out of patterns. So I've actually got one of these right here queued up, and this is a little hi-hat sweep up. Then it goes back on to the track, which is a little thing to transition into that next section. I'm probably going to go back and add some, maybe a crash or some kind of sound effect or sweep up to kind of bolster that a little bit. But these PO effects, they come into play a couple of different places. Here I've actually used it to reverse the hi-hats and just to give this section in the breakdown a little more flavor. Let's hear that. Okay, so this part in the arrangement, I wanted to introduce something new, just to kind of catch your ear again, bring you, it's like, oh, hey, we're still listening to that, track's doing stuff, don't need to tune it out. So I really like the PO-35 speech synthesis thing. It's called the Speak, and it's really, really good at it. So I recorded myself saying a phrase and then live played that using the pocket operator into Logic. So let's have a listen to what that sounds like all by itself. And now in context, sounds like this. Here's another section where I use the PO-35's punch-in effects just for transition stuff. So it's got this kind of thing running, that same kind of drum pattern. We'll solo him out here to kind of let you tell what's going on. So that's a really interesting effect. It has like that filter stutter and sweep. I use that one a lot. So I don't use the PO-35 often because I'll just wear that effect out. Super love it. And I've got these backward hats here again to just kind of give that section where the drums drop out. It's still got right in this section right here. That's going to give us some extra something or other while the actual kick drum and snare drops out. So this is it in context. So that just gives it a little extra flavor, and I like that. The PO-35 actually just has a plain stutter effect. It doesn't do the sweep thing. And it's really cool. You can just kind of like, it's almost like a gate kind of thing. It sounds like this. So that's fun. Breaks up, gives it a little extra texture, and I'm all about texture. I'm going to say that word like about a zillion million times the longer you watch. It's like a drinking game. Don't do it. It'll probably kill you. It's got that. Just breaks up the pattern a little bit more. And from here, it's going to break a little bit more. Super love that. It's really odd. Roll back in the music. Beat hits on it. One more. It's like the video trailer. It's just a fun way to end things. For effects, we don't have a whole lot going on. A couple of reverbs. Got a long reverb from the Valhalla plate. Valhalla DSP. You need these plugins. They're freaking amazing. Shout out to those guys. Soundtoy's little plate is providing the ambience around the actual PO beat. Gives it just a little stereo spread and a little bit of life. It just blooms a little bit. I really like that. So you can tell it's super short. It's as short as I can get it. It's half a second. We have Wider by good old Infected Mushroom. Never heard those guys' music, but apparently they're super huge. And this thing just makes wider. So I'm using that to spread I'm using it to spread the PO-35 and just give it a little stereo space. We have one of my favorite little setups of is a delay chain where I've got Echo Boy feeding into Filter Freak. So just kind of quarter notes happening there, but it goes into Filter Freak, and it's really cool. I'm going to play something for you real quick, and I'm going to shut up so you can actually hear it soloed. Love that. Just gives it some filtering the delays, and it just gets this sort of life of its own. Just a really neat texture. Again, texture. Shot. Don't do it. Okay, so that's about it. Let's hear the whole thing, shall we? All right, so that's 2 down, 5 more to go. Are we gonna make it? I haven't a clue. February's about half over, so we better get cooking. Cool. So if you like this video, be sure to actually like the thing with the button because that's awesome. And if you really, really love this stuff, this pile of crazy music, beardy face guy, subscribe. I love you even more. Look, I even made you a little thing, okay? It's like Maunster loves you. He's got his little M and a heart. And I tried so hard to make that work. I'm not even going to tell you how long I tried to make that thing a thing. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll catch you soon. Maunster out.